that was the point when I just sort of fell to my knees and said, Jesus, help me. And I hadn't talked to Jesus in a long time, and he was there in a heartbeat. My name is Kendell Lolley. I'm a former witch, shaman, tarot reader, occultist, astrologer. I really got my start with tarot. I had a friend in college who had a deck, and she was nervous to play with it, and basically she showed me the door and I opened it. And it felt wrong when we started playing with it, but it was very just simple questions. And from there, it was sort of a slow burn into learning my astrology sign and all of those characteristics. And then I was introduced into shamanism and initiated quickly. They told me I was special and kind of swept me into this cult-like setting. I didn't even really know what shamanism was. And from there, it just kept building and building on top of itself to full-blown witch. It all started out with just very simple white magic in a sense of healing and health and bringing good things, prosperity. It was very, I guess, shrouded in the light. When I was probably mid-20s, I learned this sort of style of American folk magic where it involved the Bible. It considered the Psalms as a book of spells, and it used the saints to work for you. And it was all a deception. And that's sort of where I felt comfortable starting to manipulate the energies around me, because I was praying to Archangel Michael and St. Jude and Mary Magdalene. I was very uncomfortable with the idea of Jesus, but in my mind it was like a false sense of security keeping these figures around while I was practicing witchcraft. The turning point for me was I was praying to Christian saints and also Hindu deities and a bunch of other deities. I had altars in my house and everything was going according to plan. I was being a god in my own life. And basically one day God decided that was no longer, I didn't know what I was doing. Basically, he put a stop to it all. All of the spells that I would do just stopped working. My energy began just depleting. Anything that I had done for years in the past as far as protection goes or whatever was failing. I was having nightmares, insomnia. I thought I was losing my mind. I really was. I was hearing voices, things in my house were moving, just people were uncomfortable coming to my home. Everything I had learned and known how to do in the past just stopped working. And I couldn't move, I was tired, I was sick. I had lost weight, a lot of weight. And that was the point when I just sort of fell to my knees and said, Jesus, help me. And I hadn't talked to Jesus in a long time, and he was there in a heartbeat. And yeah. I felt just a rush come over me. I was hysterical at this point too. I was crying. I thought I needed to go to the mental institution. I just couldn't shake this just terrible feeling inside of me. And that's when I just collapsed and said, Jesus, help me. And just this cool rush, it felt like I was held by him. And I just heard the words like, I've always been here. And I cried for probably an hour. And then all of a sudden it was like, it's time to clean house. You need to break down all of these altars that you've put up over the years. Get the Hindu statues out, get this out, burn your tarot deck. And I listened because that was the first peace I'd probably felt in I don't know how long. It was peace. That's what I felt. Well, that night when I fell to my knees and asked Jesus for help, it was a feeling of like, what have I done? Like that just kept going through my head, like, what have I done? You know, God help me. It was this guilt. And the next thing I thought was, you know, I need to clean house, but I need to talk to a pastor. So I got on talktoapastor.com and sent an email, just a long email with everything that I'd been going through. And Pastor Steve in Ottawa happened to be the one to respond. And I had no idea that was a Kansas church and a Kansas pastor. And yeah, God really put some stuff together for me there. And I talked to him on the phone, I think maybe the next couple days, and I was born again over the phone within 3 days. So I connected with Pastor Steve, and through Pastor Steve, I was connected to Deliverance Ministry in Cody, and they arranged a deliverance for me. And that was by far the most supernatural experience I'd ever felt. I was liberated from rejection, witchcraft, and fear, and I've been a changed person ever since. Before I was saved, what I was experiencing was darkness. It was manifesting in the physical world around me, and that was what was making me feel like I was losing my mind. Things were moving, and I couldn't control my thoughts. And with Deliverance Ministry, it was quite the opposite, where I felt peace for the first time. I was able to pray with people who didn't judge me. I didn't feel judged, and it was a safe place for the first time in I don't know how long. The burden that was released was, I don't have to protect myself anymore. I'm not God, and I'm not good at being God, and that I can just relax and be at peace and know that God has my back. I don't have to meddle with anything. I just have to pray. And that takes such a load off my mind. And with that, God's really led me to want to save other women specifically, but anybody that has gotten tangled in the occult and the giant deception that it is, worshiping God's things instead of worshiping God, and just wanting to help and serve in any possible way and help, overcome the enemy, so to speak. I believe the gifts that God has given me is teaching and prophecy, and I think discernment of spirits as well, because I've become so much more sensitive to things around me now and more able to understand other humans I'm interacting with and have a lot more grace with everyone that I meet. And I think that's what God's gifted me. With these gifts, I've been led into Deliverance Ministry with Cody, and I've been able to sort of reframe my past, and all the things that I used for bad, God has gifted me the ability to discern spirits and with a sort of a different insight now and use for good. It's peace. It's truly just peace. I don't worry nearly as much as I used to. I feel safe every day. It's truly been a 180. I'm a lot less fearful of the world and yeah, just more grace. It's more patient. Everything's changed. I'm a lot less hateful. Yeah, God's great.